welcome back to the Tune Project. Today I'm going to be walking you through step by step how to play the song Pompeii by Bastille. If you like this video and find it to be useful, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to the Tune Project, go ahead and click that red subscribe button below, and also don't forget to click the bell so that you can be notified each time I upload a new video. Now typically for the second portion of my tutorials I have a play along section where we play the song slowly at a medium tempo and then at a faster tempo. But since this particular song is a little bit longer, it has more parts to it than the typical AABB form that I typically teach, I'm going to be just sticking with the tutorial in order to keep it brief. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial and I hope you find it helpful. And I just want to give a little disclaimer before we get started that I am not using any sheet music for this song. I did not learn the version that I'm teaching you from sheet music. This is straight from the recording. I literally just listened to the song on my phone and just, learned it by ear. So this isn't any, particular arrangement. This is the original song that we're working with. So hopefully you find it to be helpful and hopefully it's not too confusing. Alright guys, here we go, Pompeii, let's do it. So in the song Pompeii there are 5 distinct sections and we're going to be walking through each of those sections individually. The first one is the intro, so the part where you hear just the voices going hey oh, that's the intro, and then the next part would be the verse, then we have the bridge, then we have the chorus, and finally later there's a little kind of bridge section that's different from the first bridge, but it's just an added section of the song where it slows down a little bit and then we get back into the chorus at the end. So I'm going to be walking you through each of those 5 sections step by step, so stay tuned. So for the intro, we start on our 3rd finger D on the A string. So we're going to be starting with that and then moving between that note and open A, and then C sharp and open A. Okay, so hopefully you caught that rhythm, and then next, building on that, we're going from the C sharp to A and then back to a B. Okay, and then all of that repeats, so we're going to put all of that together. Next we have the verse, which begins on a C sharp again, still on the A string. Okay, so we play all of that twice, and what I did was we began on that C sharp, we went up to the open E, and then finally ended on 1st finger E on the D string. Now, my advice when learning songs that have lyrics is think back to the song that you are familiar with. So think of the song itself, think of those lyrics, think of the way that the original singer sings them, and just kind of keep that in mind as we're going through, because taking a song that has lyrics and translating it to be an instrumental version, translating it to the violin, takes a little bit of work to kind of come up with that particular rhythm that the vocal style has. So we're just going to be trying our best, but again, if you know this song and you know the lyrics by heart, definitely use that to your advantage because it'll really help when learning this one by ear. Now the second part of the verse again starts on a C sharp, and it's very, very similar to the first part, but the ending is a little bit different, so listen for that. Okay, so notice how the first time we went down to an E, so we ended on the D string, and then the second time the melody went up and we ended on a C sharp on the A string. Next we move into the bridge or the pre-chorus, and we start on an E on the D string. Okay, so lots lots going on there. Basically, all of those notes were only between the D string and the A string, so hopefully you were able to catch that with my fingers in the close-up. But at the end there, you probably noticed that we extended our third finger up to a G sharp for those last couple of notes. So yes, that is a G sharp. We're going to be reaching our third finger up to that note. Now we play again something very, very similar to that first part of the pre-chorus. However, it changes slightly depending on which words we're using, which lyrics. So typically you can go for this one. So very, very similar, although we did throw in that extra little C sharp to switch up the melody slightly, like how it is in the original song. Now we've made it to the chorus, so we're going to be starting on the A string just with a simple open A. So all of that was just between the A string and the E string, and I know I'm playing more notes through these sections at a time than I typically do in my tutorials, and the reason for that is because I want you to hear this rhythm. I really want you to pay attention to how all of these notes sound in context. So hopefully this isn't going too quickly for you. Let me know if it is, if it's too speedy. Or too many notes, but I really think it's important to focus on this rhythm, and as I said earlier, thinking about the lyrics as you're going through, that will really help, because a lot of these notes are repeated. You know, we'll have multiple open A's in a row, and that can make it sound more complicated than it actually is, but just focusing on, okay, what words go where, and kind of positioning those into the melody. Next, we play that same thing, same exact phrase that we just played for the first part of the chorus. Now, again, there's a note or two in the song that are slightly different, so if you want to play the exact same phrase that we just did, that's more than acceptable, and it sounds very, very similar. But if you want to be completely accurate, you can throw in those extra little notes that are slightly different. So I'll play it that way for you this time. Now this next part moves a little bit more quickly, but like I talked about just a minute ago, we play a lot of the same notes in a row. So listen for that. Even though it sounds like there might be a lot of notes coming at you, it's really just the same note that I'm repeating over again in order to imply the words that we're going for. So all I did there was just play 3 notes. So we just played C sharp, B, and A. But again, like I said, many of those notes were repeated. So listen for where the notes go up, where the melody goes up, and where it goes down, and that should help you to determine which finger goes where. So that time we added a 4th note, and I'll give you a minute to see if you can catch what that was. If you guessed E, you are correct. It was an open E that we threw in there, and that again is just to kind of change up the melody slightly, add a little bit of variety instead of playing the exact same thing twice. Now we play the verse one more time, the same way that we did in the beginning, although you'll notice that there is a note in there that is slightly different. We're adding an F sharp. So first finger on the E string, watch out for that, but otherwise I'm going to be playing the verse just as it was from the beginning. Did you catch that F sharp? Hopefully you did. It is a fun way to just throw in a little bit of variety again. Now we are moving into the pre-chorus once again, and then the chorus after that. Everything is exactly the same, so you can just play what you've already learned, but I'll go ahead and recap that for you by playing it one more time. Okay, and then back into the chorus. So hopefully you remembered all of that, and if you want, you can go back, if you didn't already play that with me, you can go ahead and go back and play that section with me. That is pretty close to the actual tempo that this song is performed at, that the original recording is played at. So if you're playing it at this tempo already after just learning it, you are awesome and you're doing so great. So next we move on, and in the next part of the song we go back to the intro. So I'm going to play the intro one more time just to recap it for you. So with that intro in the beginning, notice how we played that whole section twice. Well, at this point when we're partially through the song, you're only going to be playing that phrase one time before going into the next section of the song, which is the fifth and final section that we'll be learning today. So there we began on an open A. We crossed over to the D string first, then back to A, then the E string, finally ending on a B, leaving that phrase sounding a little bit open-ended, and then we move on and we play the exact same thing one more time. Next, we go back to the bridge or the pre-chorus and play that one more time. So again, just starting on the E on the D string. And of course, we never play a pre-chorus without following it with the chorus, so that's what's happening next. And then finally, the song ends exactly the same way that it began, so we play the intro again, and at this point you should be a pro at the AOs. So here we go, starting on the D on the A string. is the end of Pompeii. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you are awesome. It's not the easiest of songs, there's a lot of different parts, so congrats to you. And I know this tutorial was in a little bit of a different style from my usual tutorial, so hopefully you still found it to be useful. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this style of tutorial. Let me know if you liked learning this song, if you want more songs like this in this kind of more popular era of songs. Let me know if that's something that you'd be interested, and I will definitely take your thoughts into consideration. It really helps me out, and yeah, feedback is great. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Happy practicing!